I was operating at a pace of go, 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 go. I work fast, I work hard, I get things done quickly. It felt very much my natural pace. Then all of a sudden, we take these things off my plate, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. I don't have enough in my day. But I think we all move, work, produce at a pace that's maybe not naturally ours. When we are children, our parents are like, come on, come on, come on. You're moving too slow.
Mhm.
Stop dawdling. Or they go, slow down. You're moving too fast. We start moving faster than what we naturally would move at, or slower than what we want to move at.
When you have two things on your priority list, you feel guilty before you even start. Your brain just automatically goes to this place that, well, if I have extra time, then I'm wasting time. And you start looking for things to fill it with. It took us a long time to figure out, why are we doing that? Do we have to fill every moment of every day? Seems like a simple question, but it really was difficult.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Intentional Advantage Podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Dalton. This is episode 292. 292. We are so close to 300, which is a huge milestone, but actually not the biggest milestone I want to talk about today, because today I have been alive 17,921 days. That seems a little crazy that I know that fact, right? But I know that because next week, a week from today, the day that this goes live, a week from today on June 27th, I will have been alive 17,928 days. And on day 8,694 of my life, I had my very first date with John Dalton. That's kind of crazy. So that means that 1 week from today, if you're listening to this the day it goes live, 1 week from today will be my exact halfway point. Exactly one half of my life will have been before John, and one half of my life will be after John. And after that Tuesday, June 27th, more than half of my life will have been with him. I think that is a crazy milestone. It's also kind of weird because apparently nobody else looks up these kinds of numbers. I've been trying to figure out what to even call this milestone, but I haven't found anybody else who celebrates this. But I wanted to know when my halfway point was, because there's been so much of my life that's happened since him. There was a lot that happened before him. But I think about all the iterations of me, the different Tanyas I've been just in the time he and I have been together. It's kind of crazy and kind of nuts. So I wanted to do something special today for the show to celebrate, I don't know, my golden anniversary. I don't know what you call this day. My halfway point with John Dalton. So I knew I wanted to have him on the show. His episodes are always very popular. You guys love listening to John's episodes. I wanted to have him on the show because I felt like it was important for us to talk about how we have evolved, how we've changed. That's certainly a theme that's been underlying a lot of what we've talked about throughout this season. We talk about it in a lot of our seasons for sure, but it's something that I think is really important for you to see, to understand that it's not just you who feels like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, or wow, I'm in a totally different position or place than I thought I would be. I'm right there next to you, feeling exactly that same way. So I have him on today's show. We're going to be talking about mindfulness. We're going to be talking about, funny enough, mindful eating and how that ties in to the whole idea of purposeful productivity. We're going to be talking about, well, actually, we're going to be talking about something for the very first time on here, which may be a surprise to some of you. You might think of it as a big announcement. So I'm not even going to give it away. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get started with today's show. There's a spiritual art to work and life. I'm not talking about sitting in silence on a mountaintop or chanting mantras for hours a day, but finding meaning in your work in everyday life can increase your productivity, boost your happiness, and yes, make you feel so much better about your days. I'm Tanya Dalton, a best-selling author, motivational speaker, 7-figure entrepreneur, and oh yeah, wife and mom. So I get it. I understand the stress of daily life. But as a productivity expert, I'm here to help you choose the extraordinary life. This season, we will be exploring work, parenting, personal growth, and more. Because when you choose to be intentional, every day can be filled with meaning. Let's create the world we want our daughters to live in. This is the Intentional Advantage. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say how weird it is right now that you are downstairs and I am upstairs and we're recording this.
I'm literally right below you.
You're exactly below me. So it's just funny because I wanted to do it this way so we'd still have the video. But I was
Mhm.
just talking about in the introduction about how amazing you are. And I like how you're nodding your head like, yeah, well, of course.
I'm not going to disagree.
Well, good for you. I like that you're
Mhm.
receiving. That's a good thing for you. That's a new thing. But I was just talking about the fact that we are, well, for me, it's not your halfway point, but it is my halfway point. I'm at this very interesting place where half my life has literally been without you, and half my life is with you. And a week from today, when this episode goes live, will be
Mhm.
exactly that halfway point for me. And after that, most of my life will have been with you. And I think that's nuts. I think that is so crazy.
It's totally bizarre.
What, that we're still together or that?
No, not
Wait,
that
I'm not
part,
sure
but
this is the
it's
podcast episode I was thinking we were going to record.
just. You think I'm like Jason Sudeikis and I'm going to serve you papers while you're on camera?
Oh my God. We are the type that totally celebrates the quirky, the weird kind of celebrations and the little
Yeah.
milestones.
Mhm.
Because when I figured it out, you were like, "Did you seriously go figure out how far, how many days you've been alive?" And I was like, "Yeah, I totally did because I knew it was coming."
Yeah, it's not something I've ever heard of before, ever heard of anyone else doing, but it totally makes sense.
It
It
makes
is
sense.
so weird, that it doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
No, it doesn't. But the thing is in some ways it feels like it's been forever. In other ways, it feels like it was yesterday. If I
Mhm.
think about all the things that we have done, all the moments we've had, all the milestones, all the heartbreak and the loss and the failure and the celebrations, all
Yep.
of it has been so much.
It has been a lot. I mean, when you think about all the different things that we've done or places we've gone or things with the kids, moving, that short timeline that seems like we just met yesterday, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, we've done a lot in the last almost 25 years, if you can believe it.
That's what I think is crazy because I'm
Hmm.
only 26. So the math like doesn't work.
Yes, our first date was when we were infants.
Apparently. But no,
Hmm.
I think this is a thing too, is we've been together for about 25 years. And
Hmm.
a lot of people realize that we are together all day, every day. Like I like to tell people when they're like, "Oh, you work with your husband." I'm like, "Yep." So John, for those of you who don't know, John started working for me in 2009, and we are together 28 hours a day.
Yeah,
We're
that's
like,
true. The only reason we're apart right now is because we're recording this and we're in two separate rooms.
that is so true. It's totally true. That's the only reason why we're apart right now at this very moment.
Hmm.
Because it really does. It works for us. And we love that. People think it's crazy that we work together. I like to say that we've been together 25 years, but it's more like 75 because we spend so much time together.
Hmm.
And we have been through a lot. But I think what's important, because people often ask me, because we have so much fun together and we love each other. I love you, John, more today than I did when I said yes to marrying you. And I
Oh,
think it
thank you.
is, well, you're welcome. I'm only saying that 'cause I'm on camera. No, no, but it's true. And I think it's because we've been through so many different things and you and I are not the same people. And I think that's the thing that happens a lot of times is that people lose sight of who they married because they're not staying connected. And I
Hmm.
know that when I first told you about this milestone that we are hitting with me being at this, we don't even know what to call it because nobody else apparently celebrates this
Yeah,
crazy holiday.
it's not
Being
really,
at the
it's
house,
only our thing. It's not a
it's
thing.
not a thing. You can Google it, but I haven't found anything. But the thing that I was thinking about was just how big of shifts we've made and how we've done that together. And I
Hmm.
feel like this season of the podcast, and if we're being honest, most seasons of the podcast, we explore this concept and this idea of evolution, of growth, of changing and shifting. And I think so often people fight it, but I think about all the different iterations of you I've been with. So I've been with the same man for 25 years, but you're not the same man.
No, not at all. I mean, just the difference in where we are compared to the plans that we had when we first got together. Me being an advertising executive, you were a teacher, and then when we had kids, after I went to business school, you thought you were going to be a stay-at-home mom, and I was going to be the corporate guy that went off to work, did some business trips, just kind of that middle class family, and that that is not us, and that I don't think long term. Obviously, that would not have worked for us. But I think the key all along is not that we just spend so much time together, but that we have so many conversations together. We communicate so well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that's the thing that I'm always surprised at how people don't talk as much as we do because
Mhm.
we talk all the time. Like even after you get off a call, I'm like, "Hey, would you talk about what's going on with your projects that don't involve me or what I do?" I'm I ask a lot of questions, you ask me a lot of questions. And we touched on this idea, I think a few minutes ago with this concept or this idea of we signed up for this track or this path of okay, I'm a teacher, then I got pregnant with Jack while you were getting your MBA and I thought I was going to be a stay-at-home mom and you were going to go do the corporate track. And here we are. How many days later? What is it? 8,694 days later. Never would have guessed I would be here. If
No,
you had
not in a
said to
million
me,
years.
not in a million years, if you had said to me when I quit teaching that you're going to be doing these things, I would have said, I'm sorry, you have the wrong person because it has been a twisty, bendy, contorted, sometimes moving backwards, sometimes moving forward type of road. But I'm so grateful for it. I'm so happy for it because I
Mhm.
think it has totally shifted both of us in the best possible way. And we're
Absolutely.
so far off that original track that we thought we were going to be on. It's not even funny.
100%. And I think this is obviously the track we were supposed to be on. But if when I was in business school and somebody told us that one of us was going to write a business book that would be named as one of the top business books by Fortune magazine, I mean, in 2003, I would have said, well, I guess that's going to be me because you're not a business person, right? And then
Right.
here we are years later where I worked for you. We went through two different companies. It's like, it's crazy that journey. Like some of it doesn't even make sense, but that's where we are. And I think we're much happier because of it. We didn't try to fit into any kind of roles. We just evolved.
We didn't fit into any type of roles. I think that's the thing. It's like the small boxes. And we tried for a little
Mhm.
bit to cram ourselves in those boxes, and it wasn't fitting. It wasn't working when we were trying to play to like, oh, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is how this path works. We totally fought it and pushed against it. And we've done so much between the kids and the businesses. And just recently, I feel like we have had this big evolution, this big growth period since we sold Inkwell Press, which is something I haven't talked about. I was realizing the other day, we have not talked about the fact that I sold my company, Inkwell Press, because I'm still very involved in it. But that has been a big shift for me and changing who I look at myself as and how I identify myself. And
Yeah.
I think it has for you as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, set aside just the reduction in duties, right? That goes along with selling that company, no longer being as involved in production and all of those types of things has really freed us up to do different things, kind of think about what kind of a lifestyle we really want. I am very happy that we're still involved with Inkwell Press. I mean, it's kind of like one of our kids, right? That we sent off to college in some ways. So it's fun to see it keep growing and be involved with it. But we're in an entirely different place now, and I think it's just another new chapter for us and trying to figure out, okay, what's next?
I think that's the thing is that shift has been so fascinating because it is. It's like we sent our kid to college. So for those of you who don't know the behind the scenes of selling Inkwell Press, we have sold it to Blue Sky, who is our partner for many, many years, who has been an incredible partner. And I think that was the thing for us is we wanted it to feel like we were sending our kid to college. We sent Jack to college. We raised him, we nurtured him, we took care of him. And my goal was for him to spread his wings and fly and soar and go off to college. We've talked about that on the show. And
Hmm.
that's always been my goal with my company as well. Was I nurtured it, I loved it, I wanted to do all these things, but it got to a certain point where I wasn't prepared to take it to the next level. Blue Sky
Right.
did such a
Hmm.
great job of getting us into stores, making our products more accessible, having the bandwidth and the ability to create more products so that more people can use it. And I knew that that wasn't something that we were going to be able to do, or that really that I even wanted to do, which is hard. For those of you who are business owners, you understand how difficult that was. For those of you who aren't, I would say when you start a company, when you're a founder, that company is like another child to you. It's your loudest, most obnoxious child. It throws the most tantrums and is the most expensive, but it's your child, and the idea of letting go of that child can be really scary and daunting, which is why we really wanted to make sure that we were handing her off, the company, handing her off to the best possible hands, who we knew was gonna take her to the next level, just like Jack going off to college, just like we're raising Kay to go off and become an adult.
Mhm.
Same thing here, and I think it's been so amazing because we are still so directly involved. I'm still meeting with the team over at Blue Sky. We gather together. There's a whole team of incredible women and John, which
Mhm.
is
Yep.
always how it is with
It's
John.
it's always been that way. So why would it change
Exactly.
now, right?
Right? We have this incredible group of women, though, who are taking the reins and really taking her to the next levels. And I'm still so involved with what the designs look like and how it ties in with the productivity and even with the new iterations, which I'm not sure I can talk about, but we do have new versions coming out. I've
Mhm.
been directly involved. I've been meeting with some of our most amazing clients and customers who've been with us for years, talking to them about what kinds of things they want to see with the new iterations. And so it's been amazing to be able to do, but it's
Mhm.
also been scary because so much of my identity, so much of who I am is tied up in that title of CEO. And then it became this question of what now? Who am I? What am I doing? And that was like a little bit of a crisis of identity. What is this going to look like?
There was a little bit of a, I don't know, a post-sale hangover, if you want to call it that, where we just kind of had to figure it out. We weren't commuting to an office anymore. That was maybe easier than it would have been pre-COVID, but it was still an adjustment, right? That we weren't going to the office every day. There was a lot of responsibilities that weren't ours anymore. And it was one of those things where we were just trying to like, okay, what's next? And I totally agree with you. Blue Sky is just an amazing partner, and they still are a partner. So it's fun to see that company continue to thrive and fly. You know, we let the bird out of the nest, and it's continuing on its journey. We get to watch it and be a part of it, and
I
that's
know.
great.
We had 17 products on a beautiful display in Staples in the fall. You and I couldn't have done that with what we
No,
had. Right.
mm-mm.
So that's what's incredible is taking something as far as you want to take it and then handing the baton to somebody who's going to take it to the next round. That it's pretty
Yeah.
amazing. But it did create this little bit of instability personally for who am I and what does my day look like? And I've been talking throughout this season and probably throughout the last season about this idea of repacing that I went through. That you were
Mm-hmm.
obviously next to me throughout, where and people are like, what does that mean? Again, something you can't Google because I come up with these these ideas or concepts. But I feel like I was operating at a pace of go, 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 and we were moving along and doing things. And I work fast. I work well. I work hard. I get things done fairly quickly. And I love that pace. It felt very much my natural pace. And then all of a sudden, we take these things off my plate, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. I don't have enough in my day, or I don't have enough going on. So a lot of what we talk about here about taking a lot of things off your plate, it is unsettling. And I started to realize that I think we all move, work, produce at a pace that's maybe not naturally ours. I think when we are children, we are sped up. Our parents are like, come on, come on, come on, catch up, catch up, catch up, right? You're moving too slow,
Mm-hmm.
stop dawdling. Or they go, slow down, you're moving too fast. And they start shifting and changing our pacing. We start moving faster than what we naturally would move at, or slower than what we want to move at. And I'm not saying this is bad because it's our parents' fault. It's just this is how society works. But we start working at this pace. And then when you have the bandwidth, like we had this beautiful open space of, okay, now what? We don't have a whole lot on our plates. What does this look like? I began to question that. Is that really my pace? Which was unsettling. right? Having
Yeah.
these big swaths of time where
Hmm.
or writing down my priority list and there's like 2 things on there. It was
Yeah.
like, whoa, talk about really coming to that realization that so much of my value has come from the doing, the striving,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
reaching, the trying from what we do. And I really began to realize and noticing this in the world around me, so many of us pin our value. We equate our worthiness to how much doing happens in our day. Did I do enough? I think that word enough comes up again and again so many times with the women that I talk with. How do I know if I've done enough? How do I know if I'm
Hmm.
good enough? And it's so hard when you're not even working at your own pace.
It was an adjustment for both of us, but even for me, who I don't naturally work at your pace, as we've had lots of conversations about this, but it was a pace adjustment for me too. And I think it was like you said, when you have two things on your priority list, you you feel guilty before you even start. Like, well, I have all this extra time, and your brain just automatically goes to this place that, well, if I have extra time, then that I'm wasting time, and you start looking for things to fill it with. And it took us a long time to figure out, like, why are we doing that? Do we have to fill every moment of every day, or can we just enjoy some of that time? And I mean, it seems like a simple question, but it really, it was difficult. It was difficult to adjust to that and feel good about reading a book or taking a nap or something like that. That is actually a very productive activity when you get down to it. But we have been in this loop of this whole cycle, especially since we sold a dated product, right? Everything had to happen at a very specific time. And we didn't have those kinds of parameters, those barriers, and those deadlines anymore. So it was an adjustment for sure.
It definitely took some shifting for us, and I think what's funny is I'm the author of The Joy of Missing Out. I'm a big advocate for finding joy in missing out, but then when suddenly you feel like, "Wow, there's a lot," you start to really embody that. The idea of embodying it is really difficult at times. And I'm a person who's never overfilled my plate because I was so mindful of it. I mean, I like to say that I eat what I cook. I don't just talk about productivity, I don't just talk about the things on the show. I actually live that
Right.
lifestyle. But when it is like a splash of cold water, a giant shift like that, it really can disarm you. It
Yeah.
can make you feel a little bit unsettled. And I think
Hmm.
it was such a great realization for me, I know, to really dive into, do I like these big paces? Do I like these big spaces in my day? Do I feel and you're right, like taking a nap in the afternoon. I've been an advocate for taking naps for a very, very long time. For those of
Hmm.
you who don't know, I call them 26ers because a 26-minute nap is the optimal time for a nap. NASA has tested it relentlessly with its astronauts, and 26 minutes is this ideal nap time. Even if you're
Yeah.
not sleeping, just resting your body, closing your eyes, and just relaxing. But
Hmm.
when we had an opportunity to, okay, every afternoon we could take a little nap time, wow, it really is. It's a little bit shocking and it feels wrong. Like maybe we're not
Hmm.
doing something that we're supposed to be doing. And there we have the red flag word of should. Oh, I
Yep.
should be doing more. I shouldn't be taking a nap. Anytime we use that word should, automatic red flag. That for me is my sign that I have to stop and I need to ask that question. Hold on. Is this true? Is this a true story or is this something that I'm telling myself because I'm looking around what everybody else is doing? And do I want to
Hmm.
do what everybody else is doing? Quick answer: no, I don't. I want to
No.
do what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing, that it was unsettling, but really, now looking back on it after some time, it really was such a gift for us to be able to take a step back from that pace and figure out what really is our natural rhythms. And that's something that you talk about too. But we were going at such a speed that I think we lost sight of that a little bit. And that gave us the opportunity to find ourselves again and not feel guilty about things like the 26ers. And for those of you keeping track of the Tanya isms in this episode, I think that's the third one. The things that just you created.
My kids, when they were younger, I'd always say, I'm going for a 26er. They knew it was a nap.
And for somebody else, it may sound like a basketball team or something that doesn't make any sense, but It's great. It works.
You speak my language. You know me. You know
Hmm.
me. But I think that's the thing. It is. It allowed us that space to really step back. And it's funny. I just talked about this in the last episode with Dr. Una, how we're talking about that idea of reflection, giving yourself the bandwidth, giving yourself the space to step back. I very intentionally take 4 times a year where I block it off on my calendar and I step back and I say, okay, who am I? Am I showing up how I want to be? Do I like where I am? Do I like where I'm going? And if I need to make any adjustments, that's when I do it. And I had this beautiful, bigger time span of stepping back to say, okay, what next? What do I
Hmm.
really want to do and lean into? Which has been, of course, doing more speaking. And I just had that Oxford talk that came out,
Hmm.
which has been the culmination, first of all, of me really getting clear on what I want to do is this next evolution of myself, but also all of that repacing, all of that questioning of time management I was doing during the pandemic with the sale of the business, with me doing all this repacing. All of that turned into these lessons that turned into my 10-minute Oxford talk,
Hmm.
which people are apparently really resonating with, which has been that's been crazy. It's been amazing. In the first 2
Yeah.
weeks, I
Hmm.
think we had like 60,000 views. My Forbes article that I wrote where I talked about a lot of the same things, it went viral. My entrepreneur article was named an editor's pick. And so it's obviously resonating. And I feel like this is the next thing, is
Yeah.
really
Hmm.
getting people to question the time management, to question how we're working. And that's part of why I want to go in and speak to a lot of these businesses and corporations about the 40-hour weeks and changing the relationship with time that the leadership has, because then it trickles down to everyone else. Because
Yeah.
that's what I'm here for. I'm here for an
Hmm.
impact, right?
Yep.
And being
Hmm.
able to really step into that has been really powerful.
Yeah. Watching the Oxford talk and the whole process of you writing that, which you didn't have a lot of time, it kind of came up pretty quickly, but it was a lot of fun trying to figure out how to take that message and fit it into 10 minutes, right? But it has made a big impact on a lot of people already. I mean, I think you were just talking with someone today who was telling you that she's already made some changes within her company and things like that, which makes us so happy that it is making an impact because like you say in that Oxford talk, it's based on a very, very old model, almost 100 years old at this point. And so many other things have changed. Why shouldn't we change this? There's got to be a better way that makes people feel more productive and less burnt out. And I think it's time for us to figure out what that means. And I think your Oxford talk was a fabulous first step. And it makes me so happy to hear people already trying to make steps to implement those things.
I think that's what I'm most excited about is I have heard from people. I've totally shifted how I'm managing my team. I've
Hmm.
totally changed how I'm doing business. I'm looking at the KPIs. I'm looking at all of those things and focusing on quality. It's funny because I had a call, I guess it was earlier this week, with a woman that I'm really good friends with who runs her own company. And she was like, I love the message. I saw one of your highlights that you posted on LinkedIn and I wanted to like it. And then I was like, oh, maybe I can't like this. Maybe I can't say it's okay because I have a team member who doesn't really pull their weight, and so I'm having to tell them they have to sit in their seat for 40 hours a week. So maybe I
Hmm.
shouldn't like it. And I was like, "Oh, that's a perfect reason why you do need it, because you don't
Exactly.
need that person sitting 40 hours a week in that chair, right?
Hmm.
We want that person sitting fewer hours doing the quality work. And if they're not doing the quality of work, they shouldn't be in the chair at all, quite frankly."
Exactly. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
part of it too is whatever that next system is or iteration of the workforce, it's not a one size fits all model that Henry Ford came up with to run his production line. I mean, businesses are run in so many different ways. They do so many different things. We shouldn't hold everybody to the exact same standard and put the same barriers on it around everyone. It doesn't make sense. And then for some people, they need more barriers than others, and that makes them more effective, and that's totally okay. So there's a lot to it. It's not an easy thing to tackle, but I think if the pandemic taught us anything, it's time to figure out how to tackle it.
Well, I think it goes back to this idea of the purposeful productivity, which is the whole foundation of everything that I teach and talk about is the purposeful part of productivity, making it
Hmm.
really intentional, making sure that it's really mindful and that we are not just doing things that we think we are supposed to be doing because this is how it's just been done. And quite frankly, this is not how it's always been done. It's only been done this way since the Industrial Revolution, since factories came on the scene.
Right.
Because for hundreds of thousands of years previously, we didn't work this way at all.
Hmm.
So it's questioning things. And it's funny. So in that conversation with that CEO, I was talking to her about, I equate it to mindful eating, right? You and I had a period of our lives not that long ago where we were not very happy with how we were looking. There's a picture of
Hmm.
me, and for those of you watching the video, I'm gonna go ahead and share it. I was very unhappy with how I looked. I was probably about 35, 40 pounds heavier than what I am now. I thought I was doing all the right things. I was like, "Well, I don't know what's happening." We had a conversation with our best friends, Kurt and Erica,
Hmm.
and they introduced us to this whole concept of mindful eating. And I am not kidding you. You know what? For those of you watching the video, I'm gonna post these pictures on the video because you'll see here. This is a picture of me in the fall of 2017, and then you're gonna see a
Hmm.
picture of me in December of 2017, and you're gonna say, "How is that the same person?" Because I am so much more fit just like 3 months later. It's crazy because I started getting really intentional and mindful with how I was eating. I think time is such an abstract concept, right? And I think that's one of the struggles that I have. This is why I'm always in my books having the diagrams or I like to have the analogies because it is so abstract. And to me, this is the same thing. So you can see a physical manifestation of the intentionality with how I transformed how I look physically. And it's the same thing with time. We began to realize wait, we were just eating our food. We weren't really paying attention to what we were eating and we weren't eating mindfully.
You talked about the picture of you. I mean, there's certainly pictures of me that, I mean, frankly, are unrecognizable from a few years ago. And
Can I put those in the video? Do I have your
yeah,
permission?
no, that's totally fine.
Okay,
I'm not
we're gonna put them
ashamed.
in. For those of you who
It's
might want to go check out the video because I'm not kidding. You are more unrecognizable than me.
yeah, it was a little bit rough, but the mindful eating thing is very interesting, and it's very much what we were talking about before with repacing and paying attention to your own rhythms, and it's exactly the same thing. We were just eating our food, like you said. We weren't paying attention to, are we even hungry? Does this taste good? I mean, we just have been trained to eat when we're supposed to eat, and that's all we ever thought about. And it obviously wasn't working very well for us.
It was very clearly not working for us. And it's funny 'cause
Mhm,
I just had this little light bulb based off what you just said there. We were eating based off the clock. It was totally
mhm.
time focused versus quality focused, task focused, which is exactly what we're talking about with why time management doesn't work. It was, okay, it's noon, it's time to eat. Didn't matter if my body was hungry, didn't matter what my body really needed, it was time to eat. Okay, now it's evening time, we eat dinner at this time, so therefore we have to have dinner right now. And so it
Mhm.
wasn't paying attention to again the natural rhythms of how our body works. So let me share with you the exercise that I think totally shifted my thinking with the mindful eating, which then shifted and was a domino for time and everything else. So I want to encourage you to do this exercise. So you can listen to it now, but then come back to this point. I'll timestamp it in my timestamp so that you can come back and listen to this again and do the exercise. What I want you to do is get a piece of chocolate, not like just any piece of chocolate. Get a good piece of chocolate. Like, don't get Hershey's. We don't eat Hershey's in my house. There's way
Yeah.
too much wax in that chocolate. Get a good one. I'm a Cadbury's kind of girl. So get a piece of chocolate. Maybe it's Godiva, something nice. Doesn't have to be big. A little square. You want two of them, exactly the same size. I want you to take that first square of chocolate. I want you to pop it in your mouth, eat it just like normal. Go ahead and do that now. And I want you just to say, okay, all right, ate the piece of chocolate. Register how it tasted. Okay, we good to go? Now I want you to take that second piece of chocolate, which is the same size as the first piece. I want you to break it in half. And then I want you to break it in half again. So now you have 1/4 of the size of the first one. And this time, I want you to take that piece of chocolate and I want you to smell it. I want you to smell it. I want you to sniff it. I want you to take in the aroma of the chocolate. And then I want you to open your mouth and I want you to place it on your tongue. And I want you to allow it to melt on your tongue. And then I want you to move the chocolate around in your mouth. Move it to the sides, to your cheeks, to underneath your tongue as you're chewing it. Take your time, allowing it to melt, maybe doing a little bit of chewing, but moving it around in your mouth. And now I want you to think about, how did that second piece of chocolate taste? It was smaller, but I bet it was tastier. And I bet you feel so much more satisfied. So here's the thing. We as babies learn how to eat out of one side of our mouth. So we're not really experiencing the food as a whole, but we're also not savoring. We're not allowing the flavors to linger in our mouth so that the crave center of our brain, which there's a part of our brain that's like, ooh, I want this. This sounds good. I'm hungry for this, right? That crave center of our brain doesn't get satisfied because we do chew, chew, swallow, and we're just mindlessly eating. But if each bite you take, you savor it, you allow it to linger, it's so much better.
Hmm.
And it takes far less to satisfy you. Far
Hmm.
less.
It's so crazy how that works. And I mean, and you can try it with different things. Like normally, let's say you eat peanuts or almonds, right? Normally, you throw 4 or 5 in your mouth at a time and chew them. But do the same thing with just one peanut. Move it around in your mouth. You can taste it so much more. And I think we've just been neglecting that crave part of our brain, because you don't just eat with your mouth and your stomach, you eat with your brain too. And you have to give it the time to satisfy that craving, or the craving doesn't go away, which is why you eat 4 handfuls of peanuts instead of just one. That was a very eye opening exercise for me. And it's the eating version of stop and smell the roses. You're actually appreciating and enjoying every little bite. It makes a big difference in how much you eat. And that was a huge shift for us.
All of a sudden, we were eating far less.
Hmm.
So much less because we were so much more satisfied. And actually, our stomachs were full and we had plenty to eat. Your stomach's only this big. Same as our day is only 24 hours. So let's go back to those words we just mentioned when it came to talking about the chocolate with the savoring and the lingering and the enjoyment. Isn't that what we want out of our day? Isn't that
Hmm.
exactly what we're all looking for? Allowing ourselves to just be in the moment, to soak it all in with all of our senses. So, with the food we just talked about, we're smelling it, we're tasting it, we're taking it all in. And it's the same thing in our daily life when we stop and we choose to move a little bit slower, when we're more intentional, when we soak into the present, it means we're engaging all five of our senses. What do I
Hmm.
smell? What do I taste? What do I hear? What do I feel? What do I see? All of those things, it allows it to savor and linger. Savoring and lingering are like two of my very favorite words. And I feel like this idea, this concept of mindful eating was such a gateway for me to mindful living. Because
Hmm.
once I realized this is how good food can be, it was like, oh, how good can my day be? How good can my life be? But it is stepping back and choosing how you want it to work and not just doing what everybody else does. I had a feeling we were going to talk about this, so I was going to I brought this up. This is one of my favorite chocolates to eat. This is a Sanders dark chocolate sea salt caramel, and I love this. In my past life, this would have been one bite. Now, 9 bites. I eat this in 9 bites, and you can see, for those of you who are listening, this is like, it's like 1 inch by 1 inch chocolate. I'm
Yeah.
showing it on the screen for those of you watching the video, but I take small bites and it's the caramel is melting, and when I finish it, I feel like I've had a whole big candy bar, and it feels incredible. And that same analogy works for our lives.
Yep.
When we
Totally.
choose to really be present, when we choose to let go of the parameters of we have to be in our seats at certain times and those, and we lean into what's most important, that's what we get to, the savoring, the lingering.
One of the things that I thought of when we were going through that process, when you go to like a really nice restaurant and they give you a little amuse bouche, or you get that little tiny plate. They bring it over and they present it to you like it's the greatest thing in the world, and they describe every ingredient. And so they're just priming you to do exactly what we've just been talking about. Like, you want to be able to taste the sea salt that's on top, and the whatever the fresh oregano is in it, or whatever it happens to be. And so you eat it slower because you're trying to experience it the way that it was presented to you. And that alone makes it taste better, which, by the way, is why those restaurants do that. Not that the food's not good, but they want you to think it's really good. But you can do that yourself at home. And like you said, that's what we should be doing with everything in our day, whether that's the time we spend with each other, the time we spend outside, or the time we spend relaxing out on the patio, whatever it is we're doing. Try to be present and look around, see what you can hear, see, smell, and really appreciate that moment for what it is.
I think we all want to be more present. I think the difficulty is we feel like we're caught up at a pace that isn't ours.
Hmm.
So I want to encourage everyone today to really think about how can I focus in on what's most important and be fully present. I love what you were talking about there, the being on the back deck. We light a fire a lot at night, John and I, and we read books, or we just sit out there and visit and we listen to the birds. It makes me sound like old people when I say listen to the birds, but we do.
Uh-huh.
Watch the
We do.
hummingbirds. We do. Or sitting down and really talking during your dinner instead of shoveling it in and trying to get through with dinner as quickly as you can to get the kids to the next thing. How can we slow down and really take it in? There's
Hmm.
a lot of beauty in our everyday lives. It's slowing down and seeing it in the cracks and the crevices of every day. It's when we slow down and we immerse ourselves and we allow ourselves to be fully present, that's when we go deeper, deeper in our relationships, deeper in our quality of life, deeper in our satisfaction and our happiness for what we have in our world, deeper in our gratitude. And I think it's really powerful, and it is not hard to do. I like to say what I teach is not rocket science. It is all incredibly easy and simple to do. The hardest part is making the decision that you're going to do it. It's taking that time to be intentional. So that's really what I wanted everyone to get out of today's show, is just being alongside of me as I've been on this amazing crazy journey with John over the last 8,000, what are we at? 8,694 days that
Yeah.
he and I have been together. It's been an incredible journey. We have both of us have been different people at different times as we've made our twists and turns in life.
Hmm.
But we were always present, and I think that's what has helped us get through all of this, all the hardship, all the amazing things, all the difficult things. I'm just
Yep.
I'm so grateful, John, that we have had those days together, and we have so many more
Well,
to come.
yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, they've been 8,694 wonderful days for me too. And I can't imagine sharing them with anyone else. So thanks for having me. And I think this is such a great message. And I hope a lot of your listeners really take it to heart.
Me too. Me too. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's show. It's always fun to have John on the show because I feel like he knows me so well. Clearly, after 8,694 days, I sure would hope he knows me. But if you are listening to this episode, I want to encourage you to go onto my YouTube channel because I'm going to make sure to include those pictures of me from 2017, those pictures of John. I think you're going to be surprised at what you see because I love that we dove into this whole idea and this concept. I do really feel like mindfulness, it's such an abstract concept. It's hard to grasp. But when we talk about it in terms of how it affected me physically, I think maybe that'll make a difference because ultimately that's my whole goal of what I do here. As you heard John say earlier in today's show, where I am today is not at all where I anticipated being. Having a podcast, having two books out on purpose and the joy of missing out, being able to speak on stages and meeting with companies and corporations and doing keynotes, all of that was not part of the plan when I met him all those 8,694 days ago. I had a very different idea of where I was going to go. But I really do believe it's the twists and the turns of life. It's when we get off the path. So often we are on that super highway of life going 80 miles an hour. even though the speed limit's 65. We're racing just as fast as we can to get things done. We don't stop to even look out the window and realize, wow, there's a beautiful view. Or wow, there's a whole different part of the world I didn't even know was there. Sometimes it's not till we're on a detour when we stop and we say, oh, where am I? What happened? Do I like where I am? Do I like where I'm going? That we realize this is really where I was meant to be all along. That's the story of my life. And it's, to be honest with you, the story of most people's lives. I think many of us are in a point or a place in our life that we never anticipated being. And there might even be things in our life that we long ago prayed for that are now in our life that we now feel frustrated or irritated by. I've been there where it's like, oh, I want this so badly. I'm going to pray for it. I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen. And then it does happen. And you're like, wait, is this really what I wanted? I think life is a series of just shifting and changing and letting go and evolving and growing and allowing yourself to do that. I hope that today's show has given you a little bit of insight in what that growth has looked like for me, being alongside John for half of my life, which I still can't get over. I'm very excited about this milestone. But it feels big. It feels big. But it feels like me. And I think that's the main thing is, you've heard me say this before, but so often we worry about being on the right path, doing the right things, making the right choices. It's always been your path all along. Where you are right now is exactly where you are meant to be. So I want you to take some time today to reflect back on, do I like where I am? Am I happy with where I'm going? And if you need a little bit of inspiration, I want to encourage you to go and listen to that Oxford talk that we talked about in today's show. My Oxford talk, Time Management is Killing Your Productivity, is, as I mentioned, in the first 2 weeks at over 60,000 views. So it's resonating with people, and I want it to resonate with you. I want to hear what you think about it. You can go to tanyadalton.com/Oxford to give that a watch. It's 10 minutes, and I promise you it's 10 minutes that's going to shift how you look at time. So that's a pretty valuable 10 minutes right there. Oh, and make sure to go get some chocolate. I want you to do that exercise that we talked about during the episode. I'll make sure to timestamp it. I'll put it in my show notes. You can always go to tanyadalton.com/podcast. All the show notes are there. I'll timestamp it so you can come back, and I want you to do that exercise. 2 pieces of chocolate, same size, just bite size. I want to see if that shifts the way that you look at food. And I want you to think about not just in terms of food, but also your time and your life and how you want to spend it. All right? I hope you really enjoy that exercise. All right, I'm going to sign off for today, but here's what I want you to walk away from today's show knowing. It is a lot of times the little tiny milestones like what I'm celebrating here today with the halfway point with John in my life. It's the little things. It's the big things. It's the in-between things. It's taking time to truly find enjoyment and being present. I think that is honestly the secret to my marriage. It's why after 23 years, we are so happy. It is about being present, being there with all 5 senses, not just for your spouse or significant other, not just for your kids or your friends, but being there for you. You know, John's been here for half my life, but I've been here the whole time. I want to encourage you to really take some time to be present today. Gift yourself just a few minutes just to maybe sit outside, enjoy your piece of chocolate with that exercise. Because when you're present, when you're engaged, when you're really finding meaning in your everydays, that's when you know you've got the intentional advantage. Ready to take action on what we talked about on today's episode? The easiest way to get started is my free Take 5 challenge. 5 minutes a day for 5 days. That's it. And yet it will boost your productivity and double your happiness. I can promise you. Thousands have taken the challenge. Go to tanyadalton.com/take5 to join or click the link in the episode notes. And don't forget to follow The Intentional Advantage on your podcast player so you don't miss an episode.